13-Week Theater is supported by Patreon. Subscribers get exclusive early access, and by the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Vittorio! Giuseppe!
Mel Brooks' career in entertainment started out on television as a writer for Sid Caesar on the Admiral Broadway Review, and then on Your Show of Shows as part of what was arguably the greatest writer's room in the history of comedy. Brooks' superstar status was reestablished when he co-created Get Smart with Buck Henry and his Oscar-winning screenplay for The Producers. After his film Blazing Saddles proved to be a smash success, Brooks decided to turn his attention back to the small screen. Building on a lifelong love of the legends of Robin Hood and his merry men, Brooks decided to create a series parodying the mythos. The basic premise was, what if the Robin Hood myth was just that, a myth, and the legendary figures we've had handed down to us were just a bunch of boobs? Teaming up with writers John Boney and Norman Stiles, he fleshed out the concept into a pilot script called When Things Were Rotten, which he sold to Paramount. Brooks' first choice for Robin Hood was comedian Robert Klein, whose dry, sardonic delivery he thought was perfect for the role. Klein liked the script, but turned the role down, saying it just wasn't quite right for him. Brooks then turned to his friend Dick Gautier, who he had worked with on Get Smart. Gautier said yes. For the role of Friar Tuck, Brooks tapped TV stalwart Dick Van Patten. Eternal bit player Bernie Kopel was cast as Alan Adale. Shakespearean actor David Sabin signed on as Little John. Misty Rowe, coming off a recurring role as Wendy the Car Hop on Happy Days, was cast as Maid Marian. Henry Pollock II was cast as the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Ron Rifkin as villainous and deadpan Prince John. One of Brooks's additions to the band was a pair of identical twins, Bertram and Ronaldo, both of them played by comedian Richard Dmitri in his first television role. Paramount sold the show to ABC, who ordered 13 episodes and slotted it into their Wednesday night lineup for the 1975-76 season. When Things Were Rotten debuted on September 10, 1975.
Once upon a time when things were rotten, not just food but also caves were rotten. Everybody kicked the peasants. Things were bad and that ain't good. Then came Robin Hood. Soon a band of merry men he'd gotten. They wore outfits made of plain green cotton. Helping victims was their business. Boy, oh boy, was business good. Good for Robin Hood. They laughed, they loved, they fought, they drank. They jumped a lot of fences. They robbed the rich, gave to the poor. Excess, but they kept more expenses. So when other legends are forgotten, we'll remember back when things were rotten. Yay for Robin Hood! They laughed, they loved, they fought, they drank. They jumped a lot of fences. They robbed the rich, gave to the poor. Excess, but they kept more expenses. So when other legends are forgotten, we'll remember back when things were rotten. Yay for Robin Hood!
The ratings and the reviews were actually good. Wait, what happened? Well, When Things Were Rotten got decent ratings early on, often beating out Tony Orlando and Dawn on CBS and holding its own against NBC's Little House on the Prairie. The show was pretty consistently just outside the top 20 for the week, which is impressive considering its competition. Critics unanimously praised the show for its irreverent take on a well-known property and the rapid-fire gags that Brooks had become famous for. And there were a lot of gags.
Great public selling of land.
Whose land?
Yours.
Wow!
But this is unseemly. First you take all our money in taxes, and now you tell us you're selling our land? What shall we have left?
Nothing, I imagine.
Hold your tongues!
Robin, perhaps the good book has the answer.
If you build here, what happens to our homes?
What happens to our homes?
Silence, wretches. I could care less about your homes.
I just registered my kid at school. Besides, this is where our roots are.
Put up the banners! Ah, good.
Bertram, why all this infernal noise?
Sheriff, they're just putting up the banners.
Hi, Sheriff. We're the Banners. I'm Ralph. This is Eleanor, our little girl Irene.
Charmed.
Yeah, but who am I?
You are the Baron von Amundsen from Germany. Now, don't forget.
Jawohl! Maybe. The second finalist, Sir Ronald of Lord MacDonald's Golden Archers.
To a fare thee well. I'll never throw in my lot with vermin like you.
You're not talking. No. Oh, thank you.
I would see to you now, but Prince John...
My dear Prince, welcome to Nottingham Castle.
Allow me.
Bertram, I had no idea you were so well versed in the African dialect.
Well, foreign and domestic languages were my major at Nottingham Junior College.
That won't be necessary. I'm well versed in your language.
Who goes there? Friend or foe?
Friend.
What about the horse?
Little John.
Well, you can't be too sure about anything nowadays.
Robin.
All right, not all of them were comedy gold, but quantity can sometimes overcome quality, and the audiences responded to it. The show also attracted a stellar list of guest stars.
The Honorable and Formidable Marquis de la Salle, French Ambassador Extraordinaire from the court of King Louis.
How can you be sure it's going to work?
It will work.
Oh, how can you be so sure?
Does a river bend? Does a willow weep?
Does a forest tucker?
Does the trade agreement meet with your approval, Sheikh Ahmed?
Is it not written that he who lies down with the lion and the ant shall awaken strangely refreshed? I will now sign. There.
Who was that Black Knight anyway?
Men call me Lester.
Lester. Lester of Chichester. Later.
Man, I ain't never seen anything like that in the forest before.
Yes, a knight with a mustache.
Sounds like a guaranteed hit? It should. So, I ask once again, what happened? Well, in the end, it came down to money. When Things Were Rotten was a very expensive show to produce for the time, requiring sets and costumes that had to be custom made. Brooks also insisted on shooting the show like a movie, on film with a single camera, instead of the videotaped 3-camera technique that was standard for sitcoms at the time. The ratings and the response were good, but not good enough for the numbers that the show was pulling in. When the time came for a decision on the back 9 episodes, ABC made an offer to Brooks. They'd give the full season order and all but assured a second season, but only with considerable cuts to the budget and Brooks switching to the 3-camera technique to save production costs. Brooks saw such a move as compromising his artistic vision and reducing the show to the status of just another sitcom. He actually told Paramount that there was no way he was going to turn his show into I Love Lucy. Brooks refused, and ABC canceled the show. The 13th and final episode aired on December 3rd, 1975. In its place, ABC rolled out The Bionic Woman, a spin-off of the ridiculously popular $6 Million Man, whose ratings did justify the show's budget. Mel Brooks didn't give up on the concept, and years later would put out a film entitled Robin Hood Men in Tights. And with silent movie High Anxiety and History of the World Part 1 reestablishing him as a theatrical genius, he never bothered with television. Damn it. But that's another story.
So when other legends are forgotten, we'll remember back when things were rotten.